Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly Dungeon Master this evening. Tonight, we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition. Playing it, camera's still backwards, I haven't found a workaround yet. Playing the classic Night Below campaign written by Carl Sargent. And with me tonight are the stars of the Night Below campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are, who you're playing, and what level are you currently? First up, we have Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm going to be playing Calidor. He is a level 6.5 Elven Fighter Thief.
Very nice. Next up, making his triumphant return, having defeated the terrifying monster that is Overtime, John.
Hey everyone, I'm John. I am playing Dorman Kettleborn. He is a illusionist thief, and his levels are currently 7 thief and 5.5 wizard.
Very nice. And last but certainly not least is El Jefe Petrolio himself, Jason Hobbs.
Greetings, muses. I am Jason Hobbs, and I am playing Elanion Elandin, a wizard of the 5th level of power.
Very nice. Soon to be 6th as well. So then, guys, John has missed a couple of sessions here because of the overtime, but fortunately it's only been, I think, 2 sessions because we had to have, maybe it's 3 sessions, because we had last Friday we played 5th edition Warcraft, and the Friday before that we played, what do you call it? We played Ravenloft. So, guys, what happened over the last couple of days?
Thirmaster had some problems with
one thing that John may have missed,
right?
From talking to John before the session, John mentioned that he saw part of the fight with the orcs, but I'm not sure he was aware that you guys faced your first Bullet in the game.
Oh,
it was
wow.
just a baby.
Yeah. We fought and killed a baby Ulay. We brought it to Thirmaster. We sold it to Toaster for some gold plus free training for yourself and Knox.
Free training.
And then we had a little bit of a run-in with the bar owner. Weismar.
Is that, yeah, that's the guy I hate.
Yeah, that's the guy we all hate. He's, there's been some lizard man attacks in the region, and the people have been fleeing their farms and taking refuge in Thirmaster, and he is none too happy about it, and he's being a real jerk. And so we sort of threatened him and kind of said we were going to buy his bar out from under him. And he quoted us a ridiculous price. And so...
How much did he quote you? 5,000
gold.
With the free training from Tauster, I have a third of that.
No, I know we have a lot of money, but that's not the point. We're going to try and get Parlfrey to give us the blessing to force him out of town. And also, since we have to go to Parlfrey's Keep to deliver the remains, which, speaking of the remains, the last session, we were attacked by a horrible, life-draining apparition. What was it called, Kevin?
I apologize.
It had a very scary name, and Dorman's Doom. There you go.
All right. I'm familiar with the evolved shadow from the Libris Mortis.
It did very bad things to us.
Yikes. Nobody died, right?
Close.
Elanion lost 10 hit points.
Yeah.
Permanently.
At least until we can figure out if there's any way to get them back. Currently, they're permanent, yeah.
And Knox had a bit of a daydream as well.
Hey. Wish I was there. Would have tried to kill it quicker.
And now Kuiper's dead.
Okay, what?
Yeah, we ended our session. I think what we'll do is we'll jump right in, because Dorman would not be aware of this. I think we will open our session in Thirmaster.
Not Kuiper.
And let's get something a little more somber here. For this.
Yeah, that sounded like a victory song. I feel like Princess Leia was going to put amulets around our necks.
Yeah. So, Dorman, one of the things that you guys have been, or have gained, or one other change that has come to Thirmaster, is that, actually I think that other one's a little better. Oop, a little too loud. There we go. The other change is that there are a large group of refugees that have moved into to Thirmaster from the outlying communities because lizard folk have been preying on them pretty much all summer. And that's part of the reason where the conflict with Weismar came from, is because he's been a bit of an ass and taking advantage of them. So, I think, Dorman, you have been, you've likely been assisting Towster as part of your training and whatnot, is assisting him in the vivisection of the boulet. Now, because you are also a cook, I imagine that like filleting animals is sort of something that you're familiar with anyway, so vivisection is not terribly far off from that.
Yeah, I'm a hunter by trade as well before that. And doesn't rumor have it that boulets like halflings and gnomes like to eat them?
The boulets do not favor dwarves and elves. They don't like the taste of them.
But gnomes and halflings?
I can't remember offhand.
It'd be a good turnabout to eat one of them, though.
I'm thinking you're probably not going to want to eat the meat off of a boulet. It's a supernatural creature, and it's got a ton of acid in its jaws. Elanion is made off with this magically, like the earth that remained from what it went through, and it's got a magical quality to it still. So Calidor and Dorman, Elanion, I think you went out early, and you would be returning probably close to sundown. So where do we think Calidor and Dorman would be finding themselves at sundown when Elanion returns with the small, caravan of
flotilla.
People? The flotilla, thank you. I was going to say boat parade, like fucking 2020 for putting the word, the phrase boat parade into the lexicon. Where do you guys think you would be? Dorman and Calidor.
Well, we've got the thief trainer here, the smuggler lady.
Yep.
I forget her name. We'd probably be having some business with her, or talking shop when the flotilla comes in.
We have our own crib now, too, in town.
Ooh.
Yep.
Maybe I'm trying to rustle up some good furnishings.
What you guys have been equipped with is basically leftovers, like things that... Because remember, like the refugees in town are likely grabbing every last thing. It's just because... what's his name? Druin has been feeding, like daily, paying for like buying out one of the guys who cooks meat on the street there at a kind of a stall. He uses that to feed the refugees every day. You guys have and you guys hired them to help construct Towster's like adjacent laboratory or surgery wing. They've all taken a great deal of liking for you guys. So, Calidor, what about you? What do you think where would we find you at the end of the day?
I think Calidor would be preparing for the journey to Palfrey's Keep.
Sure.
He's pretty eager to get there, so...
Yeah, and last night, I mean, Calidor effectively missed all the action, or most of the action last night, too, because the running out and then running back to get a shield, then running back, and the guys had defeated the creature by the time he got back.
Yeah, it was perfect timing.
Yeah. So maybe you're checking with. Let's say that both of you guys were in what's her name's store.
Just trying to find her name. I couldn't.
Baranus.
Okay.
Yeah, Baranus' shop. And I think, Caldor, because you're the taller of the two, you likely can see out the window. And you can see that there's one, like, longer, like, merchant's ship. The same kind of long, or narrow longboat that you guys have. It's not a longboat, but you know what I mean. The the long trading ship or boat that you guys have worked on for, 2 years now. One of those with two smaller boats that are closer to what you would see, what you saw Kuiper use and then lend you when you guys were traveling to Milbourne that one time. The one that he took you down when you first met him, and you and he went and rescued Max. What you can see is that they're moving along, and it looks like, the way I described it last time was like an Indian train, where it's just like people are crammed on, as many people who can fit on it as possible. It's mostly women, children, and some men. And you think you recognize, God, it's Max in human form that's in among them. Now, Elanion, would you have arrived back before them, or would you... What I'm picturing is that you accompanied them along, and you kind of would have skittered forward on Cloudscale, tied him up, and then gone in and told everyone.
Yeah, I don't think Jonathan knows about Cloudscale, but...
Oh, yeah. So, do you want to do the honors there, Hobbs?
No, go ahead, man.
No. So, Elanion, after... because of a clever use of I think it was a command or a charm spell. Oh, no, it was Dorman. Hey, look at this. Someone finished up his work early.
Way early.
What
An elven skill, an enthralling of the wild elves.
No, I think it was, what's his name? It was Arlen. Arlen is Helm. Was making him fight, right? It was that helm. Was it an elvish helm? I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so...
He got it from the temple. He
sent one, like, basically the biggest, toughest orc among them. He charmed them and sent them after one of the shamans. The shaman was legged it, and then the orc went running after him, but the orc was smaller or heavier armored, so he wasn't able to catch him. And then Elanion managed to successfully kind of like tame the what do you call it? The lizard that he was riding on, the giant lizard. So he has a riding lizard now as his pet, effectively. I'm gonna hit reconnect this guy. I don't see Dave there. Okay.
I got Dave, but no Dungeon Muser nor Dorman.
Yeah, I lost
Black.
Hobbs.
That's weird.
I lost Hobbs and I don't have Dave at all yet.
I can see Dave.
Can you?
Just showed up. You want me to reconnect already?
Yeah, already. I might need Hobbs and... Oh, there we go. Hobbs is restarting. There, I got Dave now. And I bet you I got... Boom, there's El Jefe Petrolio. Dave, welcome!
I got everyone but Dave, but screw that guy.
What a welcome, Harry.
Bring it on, Dordo. Bring it on.
Oh, all right. So, so Elanion, and what Elanion had done last session was ride up the Churnet River to the point where the Redwood starts to kind of keep an eye out for Max, because Max had actually run back to warn Kuiper and probably his family that, that the orcs had made their way out of the Great Rock Dale. So, I'm assuming, Elanion, you got back, you kind of came racing into town, you secured Cloudscale, you've been running around town trying to find the guys, because you don't know where everyone's sort of spread all over at this point, and you kind of burst into the store. And you can see, like, Dorman is chatting with Baranus, Caldor is looking out the window at what's coming. Oh, random encounter with a cat.
Mm-hmm. She's loving it, I'll tell you.
Druin, where would you be today? Do you think this is about end of day, like sun's going down?
Not anywhere near that eel pie vendor bastard.
Okay. Maybe let's say Elanion found you and brings you in. So what have you told Druin?
The churnet brings sad tidings, my friend.
What? What are you talking about?
Max lives, but Kuiper's farm seems fallen. We must find the others.
So orcs.
What you can, what Elanion proceeds to tell him is what Max, managed to tell him. We would cut back to, in the film version or everything, we'd cut back to that time on the bank. He really pulls back from Elanion, and Elanion, I'm guessing, asks again, what do you mean? They're all dead. And you find Max's father, his eldest brother, Kuiper, and a number of the others are all dead. Dead in the jaws of a Bule.
Oh, shit.
He says the thing, it must have tracked him along his way. He went to see his family, and then shortly thereafter it attacked them. They went for help to Kuiper. It followed them there, and he died. The last they saw, he was trying to hold the line against it so everyone could get onto the boats. There was a day of people just swimming alongside because they knew the thing could not go in the water, but they kept seeing it because of the disturbances. They'd see the fin rising and then going below the surface of the earth, of course. And when they found other, another merchant traveling along, they transported more of them over then and traveled for another day, and that's when they saw you, Elanion, 2 days afterwards. It took them 5 days to get themselves to the shore so they could safely try and get off. He could not count. There's 20 people in between the two farms that are dead, and it's still out there. And this is what Elanion then relays to Calidor and Dorman as you see the more refugees arriving.
It's extremely sad news.
It is.
I can't help but feel responsible somehow.
Killed the child and left the mother to go ranging along the north shore.
It's interesting that it followed only Max and not the rest of us.
You guys were on boats. He was on land.
Still.
As land sharks would do.
I suppose, Elena, you were on land, but you were much faster than what Max was. So, if you don't care to, keep this information secret from Baranus, then she will hear as well. And
I don't think we would.
You wouldn't say in front of her?
No, we wouldn't keep it a secret.
Okay.
I don't think.
So her jaw is kind of agape at this, and she says Kuiper's dead. Do the Rangers know?
We don't know if anyone knows, and we can't say he's dead. He was holding a line. Perhaps he found a way. They didn't say. Oh, they did see the Bulette though once in a while. He's saying coming after them.
Yes.
So it's likely that he has fallen.
If there were orcs in the north, or in the coming from the Great Rock Dale, and the Rangers no longer have watch over that region, that could make travel on the river next season or next spring quite dangerous.
More than just that, I fear.
So, with them arriving, I'm assuming you guys, like that Elanion, you would be going out to help them kind of offload what things they were able to grab and bring them in. Where do you wish to... I mean, there are unfortunately not a huge amount of free spaces for the people here, but the refugees who are here, know well the feeling of being displaced from your home, and they're farmers as well. So they quickly take these people in and try and help them try and find a place. Squire Marlin, news gets to him about this, and he wants to know what's going on, so he can send a message up to Count Palfrey. Knob Creek.
Well, I wonder if we should just get our business done with Palfrey Keep and go take care of this boulet. It's going to be a hazard to the farms, and we can't ignore this ghost problem much longer either.
We must reach Palfrey's Keep first, and then deal with the boulet. We'll never make it to Palfrey's Keep if we don't make haste there. Any more nights of this spirit attacking us could be the end.
Especially with Chael wandering off into the woods.
I do not like this Oathbreaker title it gives us.
No, agreed.
So, what is the plan then, guys? What do you want to do with your evening?
Let's tell the squire that we'll take the message to Palfrey's Keep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we fresh enough to make it? I believe was it a full day and a half to get there?
It's a day and a little bit to get there, yeah. You can, if you push it, if you force march, you can do it in a day. Anyone have any knee injuries or back injuries that prevent them from force marching?
Nope, just a lot of scars.
Okay.
I'd say do it.
So what, Squire Marlin, never to be at a loss for reasons to inject himself into problems without actually offering to solve them. He asks what is it that's caused this? What's caused this thing to come down?
Must have been hunger.
Well, we know something's pushing the orcs out of the area. I'm wondering if it's pushing other things out as well.
Well, you've dealt with one of these things. You surely can deal with another.
Hopefully, yes.
Well then, and he acts as if like, well, that's going to take care of it then. He writes a message in in flowery script. He seals it up with the Marlin's kind of signet. That is the crest of Palfrey's, of the family Palfrey, and he asks you to bring that up with you when you guys depart. So, you guys, there's anything else you wish to do with your night? Make that decision now. Whoop, I'll move over to our map, and I'll move Druin up. Oh, that's Bergour. Druin up here as well. Boom. Go. Doesn't look like, apart from Elanion's con damage, I'm not sure there's anything else. And that's not going to recover just with a sleep, unfortunately. If there's nothing else you guys wish to do with your evening, then we'll cut through till it rolled, and fortunately nothing is happening tonight. So do you have a peaceful evening? With the morning, what do you guys wish to do?
I say we just head out, and I will scout ahead. Yes, I'm fast enough to scout ahead and come back, especially at Druin and Dorman speed.
What I could in the morning prep 2 Phantom Steed spells so that it'll keep me and Druin could keep up with you two quick ones. So maybe cut the time down a little bit.
Absolutely would. Yeah, you could do that easily in a day then.
What do you guys think? It'll take me an hour.
Damn it, Dorman, that's a great idea.
Let's do it.
Wanting to ride a Phantom Steed since we were chased by the gnolls.
Okay, I'll make it look like a goat for you.
Oh, you know what I forgot I could do? Hold on. I just
You
realized
said I
this.
like goats. Only if you're riding a donkey.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
Okay, hold on.
I'm used to leading stubborn things around by the nose.
What do you mean, like,
Dwarves.
yeah.
I was going to say asses, but same difference.
There we go, guys. So it's a little bit off.
Oh, you're setting the scale to match? Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, perfect. I forgot you could do that. It took me
I actually made use of that in my
94
my home game.
sessions. Yeah. That. So it takes you 14 kilometers or 14 miles to get up to Parfrey's Keep, give or take. So yeah, Dorman, you're casting. How long do Phantom Steeds last?
They're going to last 5 hours.
Okay, so let's see here. 5 hours. I think you'll be able to get there within the day, regardless. But let's see here, 24, 8.
Math.
Yeah, easy. Yep. You can do that within 5 hours. Your mounts will pretty much will cease, existing by the time you get to Parfrey's Keep. So
Just before we get within bow shot. So they think we walked the whole way.
nice.
Through the night.
Anything you guys are bringing with you apart from yourselves and your personal gear?
Maybe proof of the boulet that we killed. Do we have like a claw or something we could show?
Yeah,
We have
I
it
got
all.
a claw and I got a giant fin on my back.
Okay. And, well, definitely bringing the deceased, the body of the deceased child with us. So that's definitely coming.
All right. Then, guys, let's see how your day's travel goes.
Is Max staying with what's left of his family, or is he going with us?
He doesn't ask to come with you, I don't think.
We won't
So,
make him.
yeah, would you guys? Are you telling him what's going on, or how do you want to address it?
Honestly, I think he should be with his family right now.
Yeah, we're
I
going to
don't-
tell him that we're headed to Parfrey's Keep, and then
Yeah,
We'll be back.
I think so.
The one thing that he is quite insistent on is when you are going for the Bulle, he is going.
Mm.
He needs a way to hurt it, though. Or maybe I don't know.
Could he not hurt it?
I don't think so. And they kicked the crap out of him in like, 1 second. Now that he's the Ranger of the North, if Kuiper is indeed not around anymore, they're going to need a Ranger to cover the North. And I don't know, Max's adventuring days may be done.
let us cross that bridge once we reach it.
Fair enough.
Now,
Something to
Parfrey.
consider, though.
Okay. So the it's a brilliant late summer sky when you guys are setting out. There's not a cloud in it. The wind is it's up, but it's not unpleasant. So it's really quite lovely traveling weather. And you guys find yourself riding into after a day of traveling through the. I guess for one thing, what you see as you're traveling along the farms along the northern side of the road. There, hi Anna. Anna says hi. There is about probably like for every one farm or every 3 farms, there's 2 of them that look like they have been burned. and they were not there before. This repeats itself when you first get to the edge of farming land that's outside of Parfrey's Keep, like the however many miles. Let's see here, how many miles away is that? Because I can measure it now. 4 miles out, 5 miles out. Pretty awesome. Although as soon as you get closer to Parfrey's Keep, you find that it's the same as what you had left before, too. People are saying hi to you from the road as well. The heroes of Heronshire, definitely are recognized, especially the giant friends. What you find as you roll up to Parfrey's Keep is the keep is pretty much completely rebuilt, or at least it looks like a new structure. The giants, whenever they did their work, it's phenomenal, and the entire thing looks like it's been, a completely new day. And as you guys are riding into, through the small community that's on the outside of the keep, and you guys making your way in, you're very quickly greeted by Lintern, by Count Sander Palfrey's son. Hi, sweetie. So he comes, down to, because no doubt the lookout saw you guys before, and he comes down, and he's got a big big grin on his face, and he says, "You're back. You returned to us."
Yes.
And it's such a keep now, too.
Wish we bore better news.
What do you mean? What news? Has something happened to Thirmaster?
In a way, it's being flooded with refugees. There's orcs and attacking farms along the Churnet River, and we slew a small boulet, and there's a bigger one running rampage. Kuiper has fallen, and
hand over the letter.
Yeah.
Okay. He gets a letter.
I don't know if Jonathan knows, but Lord Palfrey is sick, and Lintern's all but running the keep now, as far as we've heard.
Did not know that.
Yeah. He says, "Well, I will. I'll take this to my father." And have you heard of his? He ails.
We've heard rumors.
I will. I'll have our folk see you to your quarters. No doubt the road was long. I am hopeful that my father can join us tonight. If not, then I will convey that my news to, or what news you have.
There's one more bit of a reason why we're here. When we journeyed into the Thornwood, we came across an old ruins of a tower and keep that belonged to the Palfreys in the past. And
that can't be.
Well, the visions we saw and the things we recovered. Maybe your father knows more, but we found the remains of an ancestor that a ghost was protecting, and we seek to return it to its ancestors to be buried.
You brought you disinterred a body and brought it here?
In a manner, yes.
It hadn't been laid to rest, so
Exactly.
there's a restless spirit out there that's wants this child, this Palfrey ancestor, to be put to rest. And since we couldn't get back to the keep because it's surrounded by a horde of orcs, we thought perhaps, Druin says "we" twice, looks over at Dorman, thought perhaps it might be best brought here to the new keep with remnants of the Palfrey family.
Yes.
He Lintern looks somewhat perplexed by this. Obviously he's been told what, the line that Count Palfrey sold you when you tried to suggest that there was another keep before this one. And he says that I'll consult with my father, but have you any proof that these remains are what you say?
Well, we did wrap the banner of the Palfreys around the child, but did we find anything that would?
All the orcs use Palfrey weapons.
That's right.
I mean, we know all the things that we've ever known, Lintern, and that's always been enough thus far. Why would you question us now?
I don't question that you may think these things to be true, but you ask us to open the sacred resting place of the Palfrey family to the remains that you claim are of our family. I know my father. He will want to know what proof you have that this is one of ours.
You spend a night or two with these remains, and you will see.
Well, these lands are full. If you travel to the Hardlow Woods, you'll find remains that if you disturb them, you'll be haunted, or so the wise women say. How will that be proof that this is indeed a Palfrey?
What proof would you request, Lintern?
I can't ask of that. What do you have to offer to prove that this is one of our lineage? As one of our ancestors.
The group of us all shared a vision of a squire of the Palfrey line escaping the horrors that had befallen Broken Spire Keep. Well, Brilliant Spire Keep before it became Broken Spire Keep.
Let's see, would we have thought to bring one of those 4 steel longswords we found with the orcs that had the weapon mark?
I mean, I already mentioned that, but it doesn't
Well,
seem.
I don't know if we brought it or not. So
yeah, well, we've shown that symbol to the blacksmith here in the keep. That's how we heard this tale. And we aren't the only ones who know of the keep. If you
I mean, in all seriousness, what proof could there possibly be?
I don't know.
That's to me. That's
sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, we'll just say we don't have any solid proof that would convince most anybody. I'd say ask your father if he knows of the rumors and could verify the story of an ancient demon attacking the castle and a young guard fleeing to hide a body, to take the child away.
But I think there's
must have survived.
I think what Kev is getting at through the character is that even if they admitted to the story of what happened at the keep and that being part of the Palfreys, what proof do we have that this child is a Palfrey, other than we have a corpse?
Right, and what I was trying to get is what proof do we have of anything? What proof do we have of giants living in a thing somewhere other than what we ourselves have seen and done and heard and what we believe? That's all there is. They can either take it for what it is or not.
And that's what Druin was getting at. We all had a shared vision of this
Palfrey
squire, and that's not something that.
Yeah, I don't have Speak with Dead, Crumb. Sorry. Talking out loud in the chat.
So then what he will say is he will take this Like he's not dismissing you outright with this. It's just I think what you can imagine is that having known him for one winter, and trained alongside him too, this is a kid who has swallowed everything that his father has told him about his line and whatnot. And he's also not been, for a son that was so, so long sought. He sure seems to treat him like kind of an asshole as well. So,
oh yeah, I expected Palfrey to have issues with it, but
yeah. So he'll bring it to you. So like he is going to bring it in, and I think you know him well enough that that he will tell Palfrey what's gone on. So he leaves,
and pretty headstrong on his own. So
yeah, well, what you heard in Thirmaster is that when the lizard folk attacks started up, Lintern was hell bent on riding out to crush them, and it's only because Palfrey has expressly refused, denied anyone doing that with his son, that he wasn't able to go and do that. So he's been stuck here, waiting for, effectively, I guess, the old man to die so he can start living his own life.
Jonathan.
Yes.
Could Dorman show the imagery that we saw with illusion?
Yes, I can.
And like the images of the keep, and basically tell the tale that we were told, and tell that and see what Lord Palfrey does about that, and then Lintern will have to make his own decisions.
Sounds like a perfect use of my improved phantasmal force spell.
Yeah.
Thanks, chat. You got me to that idea.
So then, Lintern excuses himself, and once again, the Master of the Hounds comes over to see you all. And he's, you can clearly tell that he's used to dealing with nobility, because he's quite deferential to you guys. I don't think I've got an illustration of him, but he is middle-aged.
Does he have etiquette?
Sorry?
Does he have etiquette?
He does have etiquette. So he approaches you and says, "You're back. You're back then. I hope forgive my my eavesdropping, but I did overhear what you had said to the young master. I'm sorry for the loss of the ranger. I did not know the man, but I've heard he was a good man."
Indeed. Yeah, the first time we met him, he took us deep into the Thornwood to rescue a child that had been cursed. And
indeed.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad tidings, then. What will happen then? Will one of you take over?
Well, the child that was cursed that we rescued, well, wasn't a curse after all. He may take his place.
Oh, really? Huh. That's
We've got to delay the kill first.
I've heard that's how things work with the Rangers. The Rangers of Heronshire. One dies, and then they replace them with them. So, how's the summer been for the rest of you? Have you seen any of the damned lizard folk? Those scaly bastards have been causing nothing but trouble at this end of the Shire.
Well, we saw a dragon.
A dragon, did you?
Dorman, don't scare everybody.
Where did you see a dragon, then? Hopefully nowhere near here.
Nah, deep in the Thornwood.
Orcs and dragons. And lizard folk. What? And gibberlings. What's a gibberling?
Dorman goes into detail about the swarms of them.
He gets about halfway through the story, and he's like, No. Tell me no more. My responsibilities begin and end with the kennels. I would happily see that end there. I don't envy you in the least. How long are you with us, then? I'll tell the scullery staff. A day? Or will you be wintering with us again?
We've got a belated
a few days at most. We have things to deal with Lord Palfrey.
Oh, Palfrey. If you take too long, if you wait a week, it may be a new count you're dealing with. Look among, and he gestures up at the walls. Look at this place now. Did you ever think that this place could look so grand?
You may need it if these lizards keep up.
Indeed. Though, the old, wily count, many, many years he's seen. But those of us who have known this place our whole lives and known him, he was an old man when I was young. And here he held on. Sickness wouldn't take him. Violence would not take him. Ever he held on for the promise of an heir. And now he has the heir, and what a wondrous thing to pass along to him.
I'm curious, how long ago did he take ill?
3 months. Into the summer. We thought it to be a summertime fever, and then it just did not break, and has lingered.
We were in the Thornwood during that period, weren't we?
You would have been, yeah. Or with the Aarakocra.
Dorman thinks on it.
Tylar, this guy's name is.
Tylar. Okay. Then, I feel as if the Count, if he makes it through to the winter, I would not be surprised if it was his last. He's had a good life, and he now leaves such a legacy. Strong and capable son. And look at this. Look at this place. Say, you met them, didn't you? The giants.
They were very tall.
They were very tall. My dogs wouldn't leave the kennels for weeks while they were here. Amazing.
Are there any in the keep, Tylar, as old as Count Palfrey?
None.
He's outlived all.
The Half-Cut Hills are a harsh place. The winters, especially. Nothing to block the winds coming from the north, all coming across Howler's Moor. And it is a hard life here, but a good life he's had. If this
Where
is
lies Palfrey's keep? Or crypt, I mean.
The burial. Beneath, of course.
I see.
A large region. Why would you be curious about that, Elf? I didn't know your name. Why would you be curious about that, Elanion? You've been here all winter, so...
All things pass. Do you know anything of it? When was the last lord interred there?
That would be the Count's father. Well before my time. The Count took charge of the keep when he was quite young. Then he, at the end of this, sort of, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk to Lintron or Tyrus about, he brings you to the quarters where you had stayed before and leaves you guys to get yourselves settled in. So you have an opportunity. You'll be supping with, for certain, Lintron and potentially the Count, depending on his health. So you guys have an opportunity to talk amongst yourselves to plan for poor old Count Palfrey.
Hey, Elanion. Your question there about the oldest in the keep and such. Did you also find it odd that the old Count Palfrey was old when this guy was young, and outlived everyone in the keep even then?
Seems strange, but I do not suppose foul play with Palfrey, do you?
Remember how kids see ages as well, too. Think of yourself.
I don't know about foul play, but I know strange things going on here in the castle.
It's just interesting that the Smith would know of Lord Lothar and those issues, but Count Sandior would so vehemently oppose them. Of course, I mean, who wants to accept a cursed ancestor, I suppose?
True.
I don't feel there's tons that they could stop us if we chose to force our way into the crypt and lay these bones to rest. But I fear that your way isn't the way, Druin, that will make this work.
My way.
The hard way. We need diplomacy, the soft tongue. Somehow, though it irks me, I think Dorman must make this work.
Worst case scenario, I sneak in there and bury it myself.
No, use that tongue for more than tasting, you plump little fellow. Convince the man.
Druin, one thing that you would certainly be aware of is there's a difference between just tossing bones somewhere and actually laying someone to rest with appropriate ceremony and benedictions.
If we were just going to toss the bones in a corner or hide it under an altar or something, we might as well have left it in the thornwood. Unless Dorman's going to prepare a ceremony spell.
That's your job.
I don't see that in my spell list, just saying.
I think you could use bless in that situation.
Ceremony is in the spell compendium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not in the PHB.
Yeah, see, I don't have it. I told you.
So, while you guys are talking, Calder, do you have any thoughts on how best to approach this? Or,
I mean, Calidor is hoping that we're going to get audience with Palfrey even though he's sick, but I don't know how he's going to push for that at this point. I think he's just going to wait to see what the result is before he will push for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to imagine how we can get an audience with Palfrey if his son is keeping us out.
Okay.
I don't think he will. I don't think Lintern will keep us out.
No, I don't either. I'm just saying. That's just what Calidor's thinking about.
So, you guys have been, in your chambers for a little while. When you hear a knock at the door, and you're expecting this is a summons from one of the from one of the serving one of the household staff to bring you to dinner to meet with Palfrey. You've gone through this every night that you were here before. Which of you do you think answers the door?
Probably me.
Okay. So you answer the door, and when you find standing there instead of a young, one of the young serving staff or household staff, is a man, a human, probably in his late 40s, bald head. He's got a clean shaven, apart from a little, just a wisp of a beard right at the bottom. That's all white, hair. He's got watery blue eyes, and he wears the tabard or the cassock, I suppose, of one of the Order of St. Cuthbert. And he says, "Blessings upon you. You must be Druin."
What did we do with the paladins? Did we bring them with us?
I'm assuming
were
you left
going
them in Thirmaster.
Oh, I thought they were coming all the way to Palfrey's Keep, though. Wasn't that the plan?
Were they?
Yeah, but we're traveling. Oh.
Yeah, they were supposed to come with us.
Well, we were traveling pretty quickly, so maybe we'll get here later.
Yeah, they. Well,
No,
no,
but
they could have kept up with you as well.
Horses, right?
Yeah.
Because they were coming with us from Milbourne to Palfrey's Keep because they needed to talk to people of their kind, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so they're here. They're just in a different room, let's say.
Okay, yeah.
So,
And Druin's like, oh, another of the cudgel, looks like. You're not one of the paladins we were with, so I don't think I know you.
no, you would not. Your minds
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
play
yeah.
tricks on you, Druin. I am Edric. Edric of the Cudgel.
Well met. Well met.
Blessings
Haven't
of
met
it.
a man of the cudgel I haven't liked.
Let the man in, Druin.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Come on in.
Of course, thank you. Well met all. I take... You must be Dorman, and... Don't tell me. Don't tell me. You, and he gestures at you, Elanion. You are Elanion, and you are Calidor.
Not Adam.
The Count has spoken well of you. I understand that we have you to thank for recovering the... you to thank for recovering the remains of the unfortunate brothers and sisters who were so savagely attacked on the road from Thirmaster to Palfrey.
Indeed.
Regrettably, we couldn't get to them in time.
Wow. We appreciate that you bring their remains back anyway. That evil deed cannot be undone, but you brought them back, though, and avenged them. Such would be the blessings and the will of the cudgel. So what brings you here, then?
We're going to destroy the multiverse. Oh, wait, sorry. I was reading Jeffrey Nelson's comment.
You already know much of us, Edric. We know little of you. You weren't here when we spent the winter here last.
No. I was called. I was called when the Count took ill. The fear was that when he did not shake the sickness in the first weeks, that it may be best to have the blessings, one who could administer the appropriate blessings for one of his standing, to be at hand. His family has long been favored by the cudgel, and the least, if he is to be ushered into the next world, I would have the blessing of the cudgel on him when that occurs.
Interesting. Do you know much of the Palfrey lineage, then?
Only in passing, I'm afraid, and what I've learned from those here.
Would the cudgel know of Palfrey's ancestors if they only saw their bones?
It's a curious question, my friend.
We are curious folk.
Indeed. What do you mean by that?
We have found ourselves at an impasse. We have a problem.
Indeed.
A conundrum, if you will.
He pulls up his cassock and sits down. You can see that he probably was a quite stocky and muscular guy 15 years ago. He's a little soft now. His rings look like they were originally sized for someone 50 pounds lighter than what he is, or more. He sits down. Allow me to share the burden of your problem. What is your problem, Elanion?
We have come from the Thornwood, where legend has it Lord Lothar's brilliant spire once was, until he and a band of his fellows destroyed the necromancer. Are you
Lothar
familiar with
Palfrey.
the story?
Lothar Palfrey.
Yes.
Indeed.
Paladin of St. Cuthbert.
Indeed. The story is well known in these regions. A great champion, indeed. Though was this not his home?
We believe not. The legend we have uncovered is there was another place in the Thornwood before the Parlfrays came here.
Indeed.
But the place became accursed after the death of the necromancer.
Ah. Huh. I have not heard that. Interesting, though.
It is our experience that a demon attacked.
He makes a gesture of the cudgel. He says, "It's you should take care to speak of such things so freely. One of the dark forces that, if the dark forces of the necromancer was able to extend its grasp between worlds, and such things may not be tempered by time."
Elanion turns his grayed visage with his dilated black pupils on Edric. What makes you think it hasn't already attempted so with us, friend? We speak freely of it because we've lived through it, through visions. And it already rests and attacks us almost on a nightly basis until we can solve this puzzle, which is why we need you to help us. Convince Lord Parlfray to allow us to put these bones to rest, which we believe are Parlfray bones, and he says they aren't. How do we come to an accord?
What vision is it you speak of?
Dorman, show him.
Can you do it more than once, Dorman?
I did not prepare it more than once.
We don't know that Parlfray is going to ask for us today anyway.
I see, and he gestures to you, Druin, your markings, Druin. I see that you venerate one of your gods. I see no such markings on you, though, Elanion or Dorman. You are not one of the walkers in the steps of the gods?
I've been working on them for quite some time, but oh well.
I try to keep my my path free from the meddlings of gods. But playing it ain't so bad.
And you, Elanion?
The people have our own ancestors that we worship.
Then, I mean, and pray, take not my question as do you know the source of your vision? From whence it came? I ask only because if you say that this dark thing has reached across the centuries to you, and I'm sure through no fault of or intent of your own, your deeds in this region have reached my ear all along the river and the trip to here. But if this thing has been bedeviling you beyond when you found this ruin, how do you know it's not the same dark power you spoke of before, continuing its machinations?
I fear the more that I have found that I know, the less I truly do. Edric of the Cudgel.
And I wish not, take not my words as certainty. I only wish
Do you have a way to prove these things?
To prove what? I still don't...
Are you able to divine in a way that pull upon the powers of your lord.
I can
Determine
call.
the ancestry, or
I can call upon my lord, but as you know, Druin, the ways of ours are not equipped to know the full intent of our gods or the full meaning of our gods' words. All we do is interpret.
indeed.
Let us fetch some ale and tell you the full story, brother.
Alas, I
No,
ale.
no,
Yeah, he says
whatever you wish.
if I have matters to attend to with the Count, he does intend to join you for your meal, and we wish to try and ensure that he is fit to do so. I only wanted to meet the men of whom the Count speaks so favorably, and to welcome you to Palfrey's Keep once again.
Well, I hope I did not chase you off or give you the wrong impression. We have always done our best for Lord Palfrey and this keep
Indeed.
and this region.
And so it is only in, and he gestures to his belly, and he says, in my youth, perhaps the call of adventure led to many intemperate nights, and I feel that I'm paying for it now in my older days. I will enjoy wine with dinner, and I will raise a glass to you then, Elanion, but that is sadly all that my constitution can afford me at this point. So, he leaves. So,
Your dinner.
see you at dinner. Then, guys, anything you wish to do before you guys head to dinner?
Well, how much time do we have?
Is there a way to for us to detect evil on the bones or something?
You could cast Detect Evil, yeah.
I don't have it. I'm just wondering if anyone does.
I think
Dave.
Drew
When I
would.
originally found the bones, I found them because I detected necromancy. But afterwards, I got no reading from it.
Yeah, I was going to say that went away. Detective was a first level spell. I could pray for that in the morning.
We have some herbs that you might be able to take in so you could have it now. I mean, I feel bad if we scare the crap out of Palfrey in a way that, I mean, what if there is something that'll happen if the reason they really fled the keep to begin with was some sort of curse that was placed, and now they finally escaped it. But if we bring these bones and put them in there, then it recurses them somehow. I mean, that's not something I really want to be a party of. I don't know if we have a way to know, but maybe we should figure that out before we stress Sandior to death at dinner.
So, because I didn't pray for it, I don't think any of these herbs will get it back.
Okay.
Because we have herbs that allow you to get a spell back, right? But I haven't prayed for it in the first place.
Don't paladins have the ability to sense evil?
Yep.
We could go check the 3 other paladins in the nearby room and see if they can help us.
I don't even know if that tells us anything. It was just a thought.
Right.
Because we don't know if it is connected to the bones or something else. Like you mentioned, maybe the book. We don't know. We tried to do away with the book.
Oh, I don't know. I just remember a book, and that was out of character anyway.
I don't know. We think the book might have had something to do. It really was the Thirmaster book, right? Is what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The chat did also say something about giving a sword to Lord Palfrey that Bergour has. Does anybody remember anything about this? I don't know anything about it that I remember.
So when we were down in that first little foray we did into the Underdark, we found the Staff of Devotion and cudgel, St. Cuthbert sword, and I think Bergour's carrying it, and he was going to give it to. I thought he was going to give it to young Palfrey here.
It's a lantern.
Right. Yeah.
As a
Okay.
gift.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll let him do that if he shows up in maybe Friday or something.
Okay. Then, anything else you guys wish to discuss? If you bring the paladins over, you can see that both of them are getting themselves ready for meeting with a lord. And what they will do is they will, if you bring them in, I'm guessing you have not told them about this body yet.
I don't think we would have, but
So how do you explain this to them then?
No, I think we did. We did in Milbourne. That was
Did you?
part of the.
oh yeah, no, we told them. Yeah, we were returning the remains of.
We told them that while we were in Semheis's temple.
Yeah.
Yeah, true spell.
Okay. So when they perform their what do you call it? Their magical rituals or their prayers, I suppose. They say they've got whatever. The only thing is it's evil intent is what they would be able to detect, and the bones, the remains that you have, they sense no evil intent from these bones. What they'll tell you is that evil is crafty, and it is when there is the intent or a presence of overwhelming supernatural evil. There's certain the things that you've spoken of, the beings from the nether worlds, those things they cannot hide, regardless. These bones, they do not have that stink to them.
Okay.
Knowing that we're going to present this to Lord Palfrey this evening, would you be ready with your abilities to help in case something goes awry?
Arturius kind of, that sort of wakes him up, and he's got a starter like flagon of mead going already. And Arturius looks over, he says, "What do you mean awry? Do you mean that this dinner is actually going to be interesting?"
Well, maybe we haven't told them yet, but when we were in, was it Thirmaster 2 nights ago, that we were attacked in the evening, overnight by that spirit?
Indeed.
So we relate that story and how it also showed up in the inn when we were in Harleton, and it showed up one night while we were at the Aarakocra. It's literally been following us since the Thornwood.
And if you tell them what the chronology of the attacks too, it would be not Arturius but the other one who asks, then has this spirit been growing stronger?
Seems so.
Perhaps.
And Arturius says, "Worry not. The only time it attacked is when we left their side. We'll be there tonight." Huh? And he looks at you guys like approval, like, right?
Yeah, that's. But you weren't ever near us in Harlow or Aarakocra.
Correct. You said yourself, you were attacked then. Worry not.
But we were also not attacked the nights that you were with us, or you weren't with us, at Kuiper's farm.
I think your thinking is specious, dwarf. I would trust in the cudgel, as Arturius saying this. You get the sense he might be winding you up a little bit too. I mean, like, Druin may not. I mean, Druin may just be like, "Listen, motherfucker, it's not because of you."
Druin's like, "I'm not sure I understand your logic."
But I think that, like, Dorman, you've dealt with enough smugglers who enjoy wordplay and needling and agitating opponents.
I'm just watching the waiting for Druin to lose it.
Pour me a glass. I think I'm a few behind.
That, Master Dwarf, I most certainly can do. And he pours you a flagon and hands it over to you. So, if there's nothing else, then the next thing that happens, guys, is you guys are summoned to dinner. and you guys all are brought in, and it's once again the long hall is looks a little more spruced up than what it was before, but it is otherwise the same place that you saw from before. Lintern will be joining you for dinner, of course, as well. And when you see him come in, he's cleaned up and he's dressed in the the sort of finery that nobility is expected to be wearing. You guys sit down. You see Edric as well too, who has taken a place near the front. The paladins join Edric and near Paul Frey's side, and then you once you guys are all brought in and all seated, then Paul Frey, a person comes in and announces his titles and whatnot, and then the old man is shuffled in. And when I say shuffled, I really do mean shuffled. It's it really appears as if you may remember this as the man that you last saw, still quite determined and tough. He is greatly diminished now. His hair is much more wild even than what it was before. His cheeks are sunken in. He probably has lost 40 pounds of weight, and he seems barely able to sustain his own weight. He has an enormous, big, heavy blanket over him too, embroidered and beautiful, and he is led along by two stouty or kind of doughty women, bring him to his chair and kind of place him more than him sitting down. And he sort of looks over with rheumy eyes at you all. Welcome again to Paul Frey's keep. Be guests and be merry.
Elanion is taken back and silent, just stoically watches.
Okay. So with there's a gesture and food begins to be brought out here, and Lintern sort of looks at you guys and looks at his father, and he says, "My lord, as I advised our friends from the road, they have brought joyous news. News of a long-lost family member." And the Count kind of... Poppycock! And he kind of pants after with that. What lies have you brought my son? What fanciful tales are you filling his ears with?
Kevin needs more water.
Really good role play.
All right, everybody like the channel and subscribe. That was some fantastic role playing. Thank you very much.
Well,
perhaps you'd like to see the tale instead of hear the tale.
Or both. Dorman will straighten up in his seat and look over at Lord Paulfrey and say, I can only show you what I have seen, and my magics can read the tale. And we can let you know what lies at the heart of the Thornwood. And with the Lord's permission.
I need none of your trickery. Speak plain.
Well, the Dorman will go through the tale then. We strode into the heart of the Thornwood, finding looking for a broken tower. Came across visions in the fog. What looked to be a long dead squire. We were attacked by some dreaded demon in the night. which seemed to attack us in our dreams. And
Drink. Too much drink.
I haven't touched my drink.
I knew of your penchant for it before, gnome.
Dorman looks slightly insulted, but he continues. He says, in the dream, we saw the squire fleeing a manor that had the symbols of the parfray and the cudgel, clutching a babe, and he was fleeing from something. And he set the babe aside and drew a sword to guard it. And through a vision shared by me and Druin, we found the body and the remains. It was only upon pulling them from the ground did
Where? He's actually leaning forward at this point out of his chair, almost like leaving his blankets behind. His attendants are bringing forward. Where?
Just off a large clearing by a gnarled tree at the roots.
Where in relation to the keep, gnome?
To the southwest. An hour or two journey.
A squire, you say?
Indeed. And Dorman will take this instance to magic up an illusion of what he remembers.
He is entranced by it. And now you saw this in your vision from your perspective, from how you guys saw it. Is that how you're presenting it?
I try to like flicker back and forth between being in his place and running with the babe, and then back to, because when I look back at Druin and saw him in the vision, it was like a superimposed thing. I tried to focus on that.
So he goes, what you show him, the entire room falls deathly silent. Does your illusion have sound as well, or only
Yes.
it does? Okay.
I can't make intelligible words, but it can do sounds.
So we hear the sound of the young squire, and this is, you guys lived this moment in your minds before. The young squire running along, the panting, the crashing of his armor when he staggers and falls, running through the tangled, darkened woods. Sound of tree limbs slapping and tearing at his armor. His cries of pain when the branches hit him or when he falls, and the soft cooing of a child. And then he hears the crashing of that massive thing through the woods. As you saw in your vision, in this vision, complete darkness, and you can hear one or two gasps in the room. You show the young squire staggering out into the woods, and as you saw, placing his charge down and drawing his sword. And you can hear the sound in the clearing of that inhuman and enormous growl. And every one of the people in the hall, as the pursuer leaps out to grab and then kill the knight, there's gasps that run through the hall. And you think that there's even a little bit of like the lights flicker a touch.
Yeah, Dorman's just, at this point, he's sweating profusely because he remembers getting his head ripped off by this thing.
Yeah. And I think then where do you leave the vision? It continues with the crushing of the knight. You see, the rest of you see the knight being tossed to the ground like a broken doll in comparison to this titanic evil thing. And it turns, its segmented scales shifting, and you hear the crying of the child as it stalks towards it.
I suppose I'll leave the vision. It'll kind of go dim at that point, and then switch to the perspective of Dorman running around trying to save his friends in the fight, and then end as the thing's claws come down on him, and then he just breaks his concentration.
Okay, and he staggers back. So this is, I'm picturing this having taken up the center of the room.
Yeah.
There is complete silence until you hear Lintern say, "Father!" And you look over, and he is crumpled over, his head in his hands, and his two nursemaids, as soon as they realize they were completely entranced by your vision, they go down and try and get him up too. And when the three of them finally bring him up, you can see his face is wet with tears. And he just says, "The air." His name was Alaric. And he turns to Lintern and he says, "It is time, perhaps, for... If you are to take our name, son, you should know the truth of our line. Alaric was the only son of Lothar. All his daughters died in the keep with his wife, family, all those not with him. All were given rest in the keep, but Alaric's body was not found. The only son, the only true heir. And this squire, whose name lost to history, he from beyond his grave brings the true heir home. My son, we will place our ancestor in the grave, and you will be the first count of both lines of the Palfreys. And he looks at the lot of you. I owe you both in gratitude for returning our line, unifying us as one, and my apology. I should not have doubted you, giant friends. Heroes you are indeed, and my son's glorious legacy will start now. These are honorable men, and if you can count them as allies, you will rule long, for it is with their help, only with their help. A toast! And he looks around, and of course, they haven't given him any wine, because he's way too sick to be having that, but someone quickly brings one, gives it to him, and he says, brings up the glass, and it's kind of trembling in his hand. To he whose name is lost. Your name is lost. Your deed shall never again be. And Elanion, you feel a cold kind of feeling on your shoulder, on your neck. Dorman, you feel this as well. And both of you look at each other, and you look over in the corner of the room. And there standing is the squire. Returned as young and hale and healthy as he was when you saw him in that vision. He nods his head towards the two of you. None other witness this. And Elanion, your constitution is restored.
Yay.
You all take a drink. There's a cheer. Arturius quickly, to sort of break the tension, jumps up like, hey! And there quickly gets everyone into a big cheer. And then Count Palfrey drops back down to his seat, seemingly spent. And when you guys look back, Dorman and Elanion, the squire is gone. Tomorrow, the plans will be made to lay the child to rest, and a feast will be held in not only the return of a palfrey to the keep, but also to honor the squire whose name is gone. And guys, with that, I think we bring ourselves to the end of a session. So, I think you guys have full points of Astonishing Fortune, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there would ever be an opportunity where Elanion could quietly approach Lord Palfrey and let him know that the unnamed squire thanks and appreciates his change of heart and recognition of lost Alaric.
Tonight unlikely, because he's like, once he gets back in the seat, he's back to being as sickly as he was before. But it's definitely something you could pass along to Lintern. Lintern is happy to thank you guys, and he would pass that along to his father as well. Then, guys, I think what we'll do is, why don't we award everybody 1,000 XP for today.
Let's just make it 10,000. Heck with it.
It's only a 0.
All right. So then with that, guys, so for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 94. 94? 94? 90,
I got 93.
Yeah, 94 of the Night Below campaign. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the game we played, the session, the campaign, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section of the video, and I will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. I'm going to get caught up tonight with things that have come in, and I will endeavor to reply quickly. If you don't want another way of reaching me, you can find me on Twitter at Dungeon Musings, and you can find me by email. My email address is dungeonmusings@gmail.com. You can also find a link in the description of this video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where you can find channels dedicated to this game, this campaign, and every other game we run on the channel, as well as a bunch of other great topics, including finding a group, including pretty much every edition of D&D, other games, online conventions, setting up virtual tabletops, lots of great stuff, lots of great people, and one of my personal favorites, the pictures of all of our pets. So there is the Dungeon Dogs channel is always a favorite of mine, particularly if I'm having a rough day. In addition, we'll be back on Friday with the next part of our story. And if you want to find the schedule for the Dungeon Musings channel, there's a couple of ways you can do that. One of them is to click on that subscribe button down below and click the bell icon to be notified when we go live. That will let you know when we are going up. But if you want to plan ahead, you can also find the schedule on the community tab of the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. It's posted there every Sunday night. You can also find that schedule posted on the Dungeon Musings Discord server and on Twitter. So a couple of ways to keep track of us, and one of the ways to get to keep yourself on top as well. At the time of recording as well, we are, give or take, about 17 subscriptions off from 4,000. When we hit 4,000, I'm going to be recording a Roll20 tutorial as well to go through complete from picking a game, setting up a game, setting up characters, setting up maps, all the things that I use to do that. That's what's been requested as what to do to celebrate hitting 4,000. So if you had not subscribed to the channel and that sounds like something interesting that you want to see, be sure to do so. Or tell your friends and ask them to sign up as well too. Because once we get it, I've got a pretty neat idea for, especially if you're a fan of the Night Below game, I got a pretty neat plan for what we're going to be setting up and how we're going to go about doing that. The last thing I'll say, well, I shouldn't say this, the penultimate thing I'll say is that you can also find in the description of the video that there is a link to something called Heroes Save Villages. That is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really terrific organization active in over 130 countries that benefits over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. And from now until April 1st, 2021, for every $25 Canadian that you donate, you get one chance to win the grand prize in our charity raffle or one of the other amazing prizes. The grand prize is, excuse me, a copy of Beadle and Grimm's Platinum Edition Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden. It's this incredible product, $500 at retail, that they've donated for us to raffle off for our grand prize. It's got a ton of great stuff in it. You can find a video on the channel that has the full contents of that and the silver edition, which is a slightly less expensive but still equally awesome version, and that's actually our second prize. And we also have other prizes like a dice tray, a chainmail dice bag made by our own armor smith here, Dave, and a bunch of stuff from their Dungeon Musings Redbubble shop. So lots of great prizes, lots of great opportunities to win some cool gaming stuff, and most importantly, to help out some kids who could really use some help. And if you have donated, or if you're going to donate, be sure to click on or check on the Charity Initiatives channel on the Dungeon Musings channel, because if you have donated, you also get to vote for what our next charity session is going to be. We've got a vote up right now. 4 games are now currently neck and neck with equal votes. So be sure to go there after you make your donation. Go there, make your voice heard, and you can see our next charity session on February 27th. You got till February 6th to vote. And again, that raffle draw will be on April 1st, 2021. Last thing I'll say to our very patient players is a huge thank you to them. So, Dave, Jeff, John, and Hobbs, thank you so much for playing today, guys. Congratulations on putting the remains of Alaric Paul Frey to rest, finally. Now, hopefully that thing will only attack John rather than everyone else, so...
In his solo sessions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I'm just going to use Call of Cthulhu because he's probably not going to last that long anyway, so... Yeah. Anyway, once again, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you've enjoyed our time back in Heronshire. If you are listening during the current crisis, we hope that this finds you healthy, safe, and weathering the current crisis as well as can be expected. We hope that we've given you a couple of hours of time to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes keep getting themselves into, and as of today, somewhat out of. We hope this finds you healthy and safe, and until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.
Bye.